So, do you remember last week how how I was like, I really don't think there's going to be a ton of celebrity makeup lines this year because, it's already February and we've only really heard of two, and only one is actually launching, and that was Beyonce's Sacred hair care line. And then just SZA had said that she was wearing a lip product that was from her makeup line, but that was it. And I was like, well, we might have 10 to 12. I think I'm officially taking that back because February is bringing us a third cosmetic line, more of a self-care line from a very unlikely place, the world of basketball and LeBron James. I will say though, it seems like a line that fits with his branding, with who he presents himself to be, with who his fan base seems to be. But I have all the details for you in just a minute because it is launching very, very soon. Speaking of celebrity lines, makeup brands have been having so much fun this week because you may have seen on your feed this phone case by Rhode Beauty that's owned by Hailey Bieber. And apparently it is launching very, very soon, but brands have kind of taken it upon themselves to create their own content inspired by the Rhode phone case. It's pretty funny. I can't wait to show you all of the little clips. And then we have quite a big mishmash of stories. We have some happy stories. We have some really upsetting stories. The most upsetting story to me is these teenage girls who went into Sephora with their mom and started doing blackface in the middle of the freaking store. So that's one of the stories we're going to talk about. What happened? Were there any consequences? What was the parents' reaction? Beyond that, we have businessy news out of the UK, stories about the Body Shop, and an update on the future of makeup revolution. I have all of that and a few more stories, if you can believe it. So hang tight, we are about to jump into it right now. Before we get started today, my friend, we need to take a moment, just a moment, to thank this week's sponsor. This video is very kindly sponsored by the app Iris. And what is super cool about this sponsorship is it is also a giveaway. Yay! A lot of us are quite often looking for reviews of products, but we don't always have time to watch a bunch of YouTube videos or search online for a bunch of reviews. And that is where Iris comes in. Iris is on a mission to become the most authentic beauty community. And you do not have to be an influencer in order to have your voice be heard and contribute to the community. You can participate in conversations with other beauty lovers. You can participate in Q&As where you can be the asker or you can be the one helping with all of the answers. And if you are a fan of giveaways, Iris has ongoing giveaways worth $500 or more. And like I mentioned in the intro, this video is also a giveaway. Iris is 100% free to download and it is free to enter. And you can win a $100 gift card to either Sephora or Ulta. They will let you pick. To enter the giveaway, all you need to do is download the Iris app, set up your profile, go to the Discover tab by clicking on the magnifying glass at the bottom of the screen. And then at the top of the screen, you should see the JENLUV X Iris giveaway, along with past giveaways by creators like Kelly Strack and Andrea Mattiliano. Then you just make a list of 5 products, include helpful reviews of the products, and you are entered to win. And one thing that's also great is you can enter an unlimited amount of times. Iris is built on quality reviews. So your reviews that you write, in order to have the best chance of winning, should be of high quality. It should be a review that you, as someone who didn't know about the product, would find helpful. As you create more reviews for the community to learn from you, the more gems you earn. And you can use those gems to enter higher value giveaways. You see how this is working? I've seen other sites try to do this, and the problem is people will just put "great" as the review, but Iris incentivizes you to write really good reviews, thoughtful reviews, helpful reviews, so you are truly participating in this community and making it better and more helpful for others, and in turn, it becomes more helpful for you. Iris is available to download for free right now, and you can enter that giveaway to win a $100 gift card to either Sephora or Ulta. Thank you so much to Iris for sponsoring this video. I am genuinely so excited about this app, but I am very excited to hear what you think about it. And with that being said, my friend, it is now time for What's Up in Makeup. Let's start with the Rhode phone case story because I find this absolutely adorable. You know, it is very rare where you have cosmetic companies working together on something that are kind of having fun with each other. Usually it's a lot more cutthroat. Like, do you remember when Sephora went to the UK and Boots basically did everything they could to try to destroy Sephora and cut down on the customers that were visiting their new stores? Like, that's more typical. This is really actually kind of fun. So here is the phone case. Hailey had taken it to the Super Bowl with her, and now the case is actually launching, and it is coming with its own Rhode lip gloss. It will officially be for sale on February 27th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, but brands are kind of taking this concept and running with it, and I believe the first brand to do this was Benefit.
It's giving innovation. It's giving never been done before. Incredible. One of a kind. Phenomenal. It's a lip product. Show-stopping. Incredibly insane. Benetton at all time.
That was followed very soon by this post from ColourPop.
It's giving never been done before.
And then this post by Dr. Dennis Gross.
It's giving innovation. It's giving never been done before.
It kind of got a little wild on Instagram this past weekend with a bunch of brands hopping on it. We had this photo from Stila. And what's cool about this is the brands are actually tagging each other. They're also tagging Rhode. So when Stila posted their picture, they tagged Benefit, they tagged ColourPop, but they didn't tag Dr. Dennis Gross. So Dr. Dennis Gross comes into their comments and is like, hey, what about us? And then Stila's like, oh, whoops, sorry. And then they ended up adding it. And then Dr. Dennis Gross responded, we appreciate the recognition for our hard work. Because obviously, of course, it wasn't hard work. Then after that, I saw a really fun one from sister brands Catrice and Essence. I also saw one over at Jouer. And I know there have to be a ton more because Jouer also put in a clip in theirs of Briogeo doing it. So I didn't want to scour the internet for every single one. You probably saw a bunch of them come up on your feed. But the point is that I feel like brands were kind of working together and just really having a lot of fun with this. And honestly, I think the biggest winner in all of this is Rhode because it's bringing a lot of attention to their product because people are wondering, what is this in reference to? They're finding out in the comment section that it has to do with this phone case. And it is really magnifying that this phone case is coming out and also Rhode as a brand. But I would love to know what you think of something like this, of brands kind of coming together to parody the launch of another brand, because I can also see the flip negative side of it. What do you think? Is it just harmless fun? Or do you think that they're maybe being mean? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Like I mentioned in last week's show and also in the intro, celebrity beauty brands have been popping up a lot over the past few years. Back in 2022, there were 19 celebrity cosmetic launches between hair, makeup, skincare. In 2023, that number dropped to just 6, which you know is a huge difference. I don't know what you were thinking last week and what you're thinking now as far as the number of celebrity launches we'll see in 2024, but LeBron James is adding his name to that list. He is launching a men's grooming line called The Shop. He has partnered with Parlux Ltd to develop his own line of shampoo, conditioner, face wash, shave and beard creams, as well as aftershave toner and styling pomade. The shop is inspired by the conversations that happen within barbershops. Parlux Ltd's specialty is actually not products like this. Their specialty is fragrance. And one of the fragrance lines that is relatively new, that has become very, very popular, is Billie Eilish's fragrance line. They're also in charge of the lines by Kenneth Cole, Vince Camuto, Tommy Bahama, Paris Hilton, Jessica Simpson, Sean John, Jason Wu, and others. Based on this, I would imagine that the scent of these products is going to be a major selling point of LeBron's line. The shop will be available in April, and get this, 1,600 Walmart stores, because he's taking a page out of John Legend's Loved One book line, whatever you want to call it, out of his book for his line by keeping the price point at around $10. The brand said that they wanted to, quote, make the range accessible to men of all ages. And honestly, I'm not mad about this. I'm genuinely not mad about this. I feel like it fits LeBron and his branding. Like I was saying in the intro, I feel like it just kind of fits with his audience. And it seems like it's a product that people will be really excited about. I don't have a beard. I don't do any of that. So I don't think that this line was targeted at me, obviously, but I'm excited for the people that it is targeted at. This next story is kind of off of the vibe of the rest of this video in that I am going to get a little heated throughout it because it is such a disgusting story. So always remember that if something is bothering you, if this is something that personally affects you and it makes you uncomfortable, there's always timestamps in the video description for you to skip ahead because I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but I do feel like these kinds of stories, it's important to share them with you. We all know that shopping in Sephora is all the rage for teenagers. It's also all the rage right now for preteens to go in. I covered the teenagers want skincare and what's an appropriate skincare routine for teenagers angle, but a lot of people were covering them running absolutely amok in the Sephoras, destroying the samples, making what they call smoothies with the Drunk Elephant products by mixing things together. I think Drunk Elephant came up with that, but the kids are doing it in the store. Oftentimes, these kids are in there without any adult supervision, and it is the Sephora employees who are stuck with cleaning up the mess. But the mess that was recorded at Sephora last week was a completely different kind of mess, and what's worse is that it seems like the parents didn't have any problem with it. The person who filmed the scene in the store described it as, quote, genuinely disgusting and disturbing. It is disgusting and disturbing. Trigger warning. I'm about to play the clip.
Send me that.
Yeah.
No, I walked over here and you're about to
Like,
send me that.
this lady has no shame.
Go ahead. This is
Like,
the stuff
literally.
that limits jobs, college acceptances, let alone how incredibly effective this
This is so wild.
is.
Not a face
I'm
mask.
so sorry.
This is
to
so
everyone
shameful. This is so shameful. Like,
We don't.
The person who recorded it said in the clip, quote, these group of teenage girls and their mothers came in and go to the makeup section to use the samples for blackface whilst giggling and making animal sounds. In case you weren't able to hear or in case you weren't able to see what was happening, here's a quick recap. The Sephora employee is talking to the mother of one of the girls that's walking around with blackface on. She tells her, no, I walked over here and you're about to take a picture of them. You want to document this? Go ahead. And then a moment later, she says, this is the stuff that ruins jobs, college acceptances, let alone how incredibly offensive this is. And in reaction, instead of being absolutely horrified as a parent, the mother turns her back and walks away. Then you see that the girl is kind of hesitating to walk away, like, should I stay? Should I go? And eventually she just walks away back to her friends. When she gets there, one of her friends seems to be kind of halfway through the process of doing it to her face, and then the other girl is looking in the mirror, currently putting the dark foundation on her face. When the original girl sees that she's being recorded, she ducks out of frame. According to the original poster, one of the parents actually went up to her and asked her to delete the video because they didn't give permission to be recorded. And in the US, if you're in a public place, you don't have to give permission. Sephora did respond to this incident, and this is what they said. Sephora's top priority is to create a welcoming and inclusive shopping experience for all. We are extremely disappointed by the behavior of these shoppers at our Prudential Center location, and as such, they were asked to leave our premises. Under no circumstances is this type of behavior tolerated at Sephora. And a big reason why I wanted to include this is that I do hear occasionally in my day-to-day, in my comment section, that racism no longer exists, and it makes me really upset. So this is something that is proof and evidence that it absolutely 100% does exist, and I think it's important to notice it, call it out, and say how horrible it is. There's absolutely no excuse for this kind of behavior, and the mother's reaction to this, as a mother, absolutely horrified me because she clearly doesn't see a problem with this, and not only doesn't see a problem with it, but she wanted to document it because she also thought that it was funny. I feel like it's really important for me to share these stories so that we can collectively see that yes, racism does still exist and still needs to be called out and condemned. Switching gears quite a bit, depression is something that should never be taken lightly. There are things that people with depression typically deal with in society, people telling them to just be happy, or, what do you have to be sad about? Or, just think happy thoughts, like things like that are just really inappropriate and dismissive. So it's important when covering a story like this to recognize that studies like this are not going to be a cure for depression. But based on what happened in the study, it seems like it may be a tool that therapists will be able to use. It all centers around the negative thought cycles that people can get into when they have depression. And there was a study that was recently published. It was out of the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. And what they found was that smelling a familiar scent tended to break that cycle of negative thought. And thoughts that people had when smelling these familiar scents were typically positive. They also found that the scent cueing was much faster and more powerful than word cueing. When people said something that made the person happy, the scent was more immediate. So what they're thinking is that therapists can use specifically designed fragrances in their therapy sessions to help people break out of those emotional cycles. And what I also found interesting was they said that the amygdala, which is the part of the brain that not only controls the fight or flight responses, but also directs attention and focus to important events, helps with memory recall. The senior author of the study, her name is Kimberly Young, she said the study was prompted by, quote, extensive evidence that people with depression have a hard time recalling specific autobiographical memories, and that in healthy individuals, odors trigger memories that feel vivid and real, likely because they directly engage the amygdala through nerve connections from the olfactory bulb. So what all of that means is they're hoping to not only break people out of those thought cycles with scents, but also help them to recall positive memories from their past. Dr. Young hopes to take this to the next level by using brain scanners to prove her theory is scientifically happening by watching the amygdala light up when these scents are smelled. And the reason why I'm putting this story in is, number one, I think it's fascinating because I think our brain is absolutely fascinating, but where I feel like it's relevant to the beauty space is in fragrance development. And I would imagine that as we see this develop, and if this science becomes more solid, that fragrance companies will use fragrances that evoke those feelings in order to help people feel happier and therefore sell more fragrance. Fragrance companies also may specifically manufacture fragrances in order to use in a therapeutic setting. There is just so much marketability to this science if it actually does help people. But I would love to know what you think about this, especially if you or someone that you know suffers from depression. Do you find any of this to be factual in what you've experienced in your life or what you've heard from people that you love? I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments. And in legal news this week, one of the major reasons why companies say that they need to raise prices is because of daily retail theft of cosmetics. So when stolen cosmetics are recovered and the criminals are held to account, that makes me very, very happy to hear. On February 1st in Linwood, Washington, police responded to a call of a theft in progress at an unnamed retail location. On the call, an employee reported that there were two people that were in the store and they were stealing. They said that they recognized one of the people because he had actually been in the store the day before and he was stealing the day before. Officers got there fast enough to take these suspects into custody. They also took the vehicle into custody where they found a total of about $12,000 in stolen cosmetics. The Linwood police say that they believe that the thieves were selling the cosmetics across state lines and selling them for what they say was pennies on the dollar. Police also said that the suspects that they caught, they believe that they are part of an organized theft ring out of Romania. Now I'm looking at the photo and I'm looking at the products that are there and I see Fenty, I see Tarte, I see Sol de Janeiro, I see Makeup Forever, I see Urban Decay, so it's likely to me this looks like they were stolen from a Sephora. So what happened to these guys? Well, one subject was booked. He was put into jail for organized retail theft in the first degree, and the other subject was a juvenile. So they were released to their parents/guardian. If I hear any updates on the story, I will definitely let you know. In science news this week, we're going to be talking PFAS. And you may have heard of PFAS somewhere, either in online searching about cosmetics, maybe you heard it in the news, something like that, but maybe you don't know exactly what PFAS are. You just know that they're bad. You just know that people say that they are what they call forever chemicals. PFAS are not an individual ingredient, but a group of chemicals. And what these chemicals are typically used for is like waterproofing. So for example, you may see PFAS used in things like water-resistant fabrics, grease-resistant paper, non-stick cookware, stuff like that, but it is also found in cosmetics, specifically in things like long-wearing mascara, in long-wearing eyeliners, in long-wearing lipsticks, things like that. But it can also be found in cosmetics like lotions and cleansers, nail polish, all kinds of other cosmetics. As far as our health and the environment, PFAS are called forever chemicals because it takes them so long to break down in the body and in the environment. According to the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry at the US CDC, most of the information that we have about how PFAS affect humans is from animal research. So because of that, we don't know if there's a one-to-one correspondence, because what they typically do is they dose the animals with way more of the ingredient than what we would typically find in a human's lifespan. So the effects are exaggerated within the animals, but they have found a lot of links to health concerns. Things like an increase in cholesterol, changes in liver enzymes, lower antibody response to some vaccines, pregnancy-induced hypertension and preeclampsia, small decreases in birth weight of babies being born when the mother was exposed to PFAS, as well as kidney and testicular cancers. The CDC states that the risk of health effects relating to PFAS exposure depends on a lot of individual factors, things like the dose, the frequency, the route of how the person got PFAS in their system, and the duration of exposure, and of course other individual factors like did the person have access to healthcare and were they seen and treated early, things like that. The US FDA doesn't seem to be on the path to banning PFAS from use in products, but there is a company that is, and it is New Zealand. According to a report in The Guardian, the Environmental Protection Authority in New Zealand has announced a ban on forever chemicals in cosmetics that will come into effect in 2026, potentially making this the first country to outlaw PFAS. The agency also plans to test for background levels of PFAS in the environment, and they're going to work with cosmetic companies to comply with the regulation, because the biggest thing is that they say that 80% of their cosmetics do come from outside of New Zealand. So they have to do something if they don't want to lose all of those cosmetics coming into the country. So what this might cause is a chain reaction, because if one country bans it, it may be in the company's best interest to just stop using PFAS altogether. It might be just money-wise better for the company. And because of that, there may be more companies within other countries talking about that their products are PFAS-free. That may create more customers pushing and lobbying the government to ban PFAS, and it may create this whole big chain of events, but we will just have to wait and see. Our business news today centers around two different brands. Both of them just happen to be brands based in the UK. So the first story has to do with The Body Shop. They are not doing well, my friends. They are not doing well at all. They've officially collapsed into administration, resulting in restructuring, placing nearly 2,000 jobs at risk. Sources close to the matter say that the chain could close 200 plus UK stores to help reduce costs. This seems to be affecting the British market only, and they don't expect that it'll affect anywhere outside of there. The administrator in charge stated that The Body Shop has faced a, quote, extended period of financial challenges under past owners. This includes multiple consecutive quarters of losses with their former owner, which is Natra and Company, cutting leadership and staff roles in an attempt to limit the impact on earnings. When The Body Shop was purchased by the Aurelius Group for £207 million back in late 2023, the people, Naturian company, lost their faces on it. They ended up selling for a fifth of the cost that they had bought the Body Shop from L'Oreal for in 2017. A spokesperson for the brand stated, quote, having taken swift action in the last month, including closing down the Body Shop at home and selling its business across most of Europe and in parts of Asia, focusing on the UK business is the next important step in the Body Shop's restructuring. Some of the kinks are still being worked out with the sale of Naturian company. One of the things that's being worked out is they're saying that some of the bonuses haven't been paid, but they're gonna figure all of that out, I'm assuming. Apparently, employees are owed a total of £3 million in bonuses. The second story has to do with Revolution Beauty. There's always something happening over there, but this story has to do with how they are restructuring in order to build themselves back now that they have gotten Adam Minto. He is gone. He's paying his debts to them, and he's out of it. Boohoo people, who were their investors, they got their way. They're now in charge, and they're figuring out a plan of how they are going to become a billion-dollar brand. That's their goal, a billion-dollar brand by the year 2030. They even have a tagline for this called Reigniting the Revolution. So what is the plan, you may ask? I'm going to tell you. So the first thing is to invest in the brand's identity, and they're going to do something that we as customers have been telling them, at least I have been, I think you have been telling them forever, is to slow down on the number of launches, lessen the number of products they're coming out with, lessen the total number of SKUs. It's just too many products. They also want to better manage the distribution to their retail partners, maximize returns, and they want to do this with a particular focus in the US market. The new Revolution Beauty CEO, her name is Lauren Brindley, stated in a press release, quote, "The strategy that we are setting out today is about harnessing our strengths and taking the brand back to its roots. We want to build on what we are best known for, our innovation, speed to market, accessibility, and inclusivity, by focusing on our Revolution master brand, building smarter operations, maintaining financial discipline, and energizing our teams. We believe we will deliver long-term profitable growth." One thing you may have noticed that they did not mention was improving the quality of their products, which is the other big gripe that a lot of us have with Makeup Revolution, is that the packaging is beautiful and you get it home and you try to use it and it is a piece of crap. It is terrible quality. I have some wonderful products that I love from Revolution. One of my favorite concealers of all time is the Makeup Revolution IRL Filter Finish in C4. It's a soft matte concealer. I'm actually wearing it today, and I didn't even think about it when I put it on. I put it on because I really genuinely love this concealer. They have the potential to make really good products, but I think that especially their eyeshadow formula, if you can't nail a good eyeshadow formula, I think people are going to judge you pretty harsh for it. So I'm hoping that they invest more in that product development, in product testing, making sure they are putting out a consistently good quality product, and then only then are they going to be competitive with other drugstore price brands like e.l.f. Because I will be 100% with you, the packaging and the collabs are really only going to take them so far. And for our lighthearted, happy story of the week, allow me to introduce you to Kristen Wells Collins. She wants to encourage kids to think about a career in cosmetic chemistry. And she's encouraging kids to do something that maybe might freak out some adults: mix their own cosmetics. In 2020, Kristen launched Black to the Lab. It is a $30 toy makeup kit that allows kids to mix their own beauty products while, quote, also learning the science behind those formulations. Her mission, again, is to push kids into STEM, and these products are targeted at kids 6 and older. According to one study by Microsoft, girls began losing interest in science by age 11, and Kristen wants to use her education and her passion to change that statistic. Her toy kit uses base formulations so that kids can formulate their own lip glosses and body scrubs specifically. There is no heat needed and there's no wait time, so they can immediately start using the products or gifting them to friends and family. Beyond it being a toy, however, and as a former educator, this one really warms my heart, she wants to bring this experience into educational settings. She and her team go into schools, summer camps, and other organizations to teach kids the science foundation of beauty. They've led classes with the city of Dallas, as well as the Duncanville Independent School District, different Girl Scout chapters, and more. Black to the Lab has 2 different educational curriculums currently. There is The Little Chemist, and that focuses on product formulation and a short business pitch. And then there is Making the Brand. This is for older kids, and it has an entrepreneurial focus, teaching older girls about business planning. She is working on a third curriculum. This is going to be agriculturally based, and it is a curriculum that she hopes to launch later this year. Students will make a bath bomb while learning how plant-based ingredients are incorporated into cosmetic and beauty formulations. Another future goal of hers that I absolutely love is to launch products in partnership with kids, the products that the kids have developed themselves. She said the reason for this is, quote, so they get a chance to say, look what I created, and then they can see their own future in the beauty industry. As an ingredient nerd, I absolutely love this. I think I would have loved this as a kid, and I am so excited for her. Thank you, Kristen, for creating this, and I hope that it really catches on. And that, my friend, was What's Up in Makeup this week. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, thank you as always to the What's Up in Makeup Facebook hunters. Their names are scrolling below me. Thank you for all of your submissions this week. I appreciate you oh so very much. Our chat today is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Hopefully you can come hang out, join us, talk about makeup. But if you can't, I totally get it. I mean, you got stuff going on. You might miss it. It's no problem. It's very easy to find on the replay if you're subscribed. It should be just hanging out in your subscription feed. But if you're not subscribed, you can also find it. There's a link down below to the What's Up in Makeup live chat podcast, because I do make sure that the way I present it, I try to make sure you can just listen to it and not have to look at it, which is, I think, good for a lot of people. I know that I listen to videos like podcasts sometimes, so that's available to you as well. But if you don't want to go there, you can also go to my channel page. You click on the tab that says live, and that's where all my live chats are housed as well. Thank you again so much for watching What's Up in Makeup. I appreciate you so much. If you would like to hang out just a little bit longer, especially if you missed last week's episode of What's Up in Makeup, it should be hanging out right over here at the bottom. YouTube's gonna pick the top one based on what they think you want to watch from my channel. But if you do gotta go, I get it. It's no problem. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did, and mad love to you. And I will see you in a video tomorrow for the product report. Mad love. See you soon. Bye.